It's on your quest to find a legend, put the rumors to rest.
Welcome to Squatch-D TV, where the truth is first before all else. Join your hosts, veteran investigator, TV personality, and author Steve Kulls, and from the Kentucky Bigfoot Research Project and the Kentucky Fried Fixes channel, Chris Bennett. Sit back and prepare to take yourself on a journey with the longest-running Bigfoot podcast, Squatch-D TV. Here are your hosts, Steve and Chris. And good evening, cyberspace. Welcome to Squatch-D TV for today's date, March 10th, 2024. I'm your host, your guide, Squatch Detective Steve Kulls, along with my co-host, Mr. Chris Bennett. Hello, Chris. How are you down there?
Steve, it's good to see you, man. I tell you what, we've had some sunshine today, and it's about time. It's been a week, a holy weather, wet week. We've had temperature wasn't too great today, but we got the sunshine back, and we're going to get more tomorrow. So that means possibly tomorrow I might be out doing some woods trekking.
All right, that's what
how's
we want to
everything
hear.
going for you in New York, sir?
Rain tomorrow too. So, but we're glad to see we have Darren down there. Hello, Darren.
Hey, Darren.
So here we are, another wild and woolly week here in the Squatch world. Of course, I talked a little bit about it on Friday on the Bigfoot news, but yeah, my neck is getting worse.
Oh no.
So yeah.
Man,
and in case people didn't catch that, last Monday, it'll be week tomorrow, I was hit not once but twice by a tractor trailer.
Yep.
And although he backed into me, it wasn't really he was at a full stop. I was at a full stop, and then he just decided to turn it into reverse and hit me twice. And I think it was the second time. The first time I saw it coming, I wasn't really expecting him to hit me a second time.
Yeah, dude, and, I know you're not an ambulance chaser, Steve. You need to get your neck checked out.
No, I'm an ambulance driver, for crying out loud.
Yeah. You need to get that neck checked out. Okay, you might have to be wearing one of those collar things.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I had a little bit of back strain at work a couple of weeks ago. I took a couple of days off for that. My back was fine. In fact, I went back to work on one day. And I was fine all day until we had to actually use the litter and just the pulling on the weight on that.
Oh, yeah.
And so I don't know. I'm going to have to probably plop to the doctor tomorrow and see what's what, and maybe a visit to an attorney.
Do not take a chance especially on your neck, because, man, there's a lot of nerve stuff in there can mess you up for life. Okay?
Yeah.
Do not take any chances.
You're not kidding. Anyway, let's go to the positive. And first, I want to thank Walter Kroll for throwing out 10 gift memberships out there to folks. We really appreciate that.
Thank you, Walter. Thank you so much.
And
the chat is hopping. It is. We got 57,
there it is.
58 people. Look at this.
So
we're so honored. Thank you.
When we hit the halfway point of the show tonight, we are going to also gift 10 memberships as well. So
cool.
So first in tonight was Ammon Chris. Good to see you, Ammon.
Chris.
And Lester was still second. Lester's been trying to be first in all.
I'm not sure what that means, but I think I know, so I'm not going to say it. 8 hours. 8 hours before the show began, Ammon Chris was in here and Lester. Wow.
Of course, we got Mick in here. Uncle Bones number 2, relic hominin. He'll catch the show tomorrow. He's in the UK.
Hey, we just had some stuff about the UK on Friday. On the
Jay Charlotte, good to see you. Daniel Weeks, hello. Of course, we got Henry May. Good to see you, Henry.
Good to see you.
Walter Kroll again.
Walter
said, look at all the early Bigfooters. Pete H.
Pete.
Good to see you. My good buddy Jim Lansing is on.
Hey, Jim.
Matt Collins, good to see you, brother.
Matt.
My neighbor. We got B. Lynn. And of course, we got Brent Dillon here. Awesome guest. We listening in. Good to see you, Brent. B. Lynn, of course.
B, yeah. Glad to have B.
And I think B has got the moderator. That wrench means he's a mod.
Oh, Watch out.
Watch out.
Behave. B will get you.
B's the bouncer tonight. We got Tennessee Cherokee in here. Sharon, good to see you as well.
Sure.
Don Gumow, good to see you, Don.
On.
Grasshopper, good to see you, sir.
Grasshopper.
I think we said Jen already. Well, hello, Jen. Jen is in the house.
Yeah. Welcome.
Now I'm scrolling down to where, okay, we got Ristel in the house. Good to see you, my friend.
Bristol. Yeah. Still can't get over Walter Crow. Walter. Oh my God.
My good buddy Outback Orchard in the house too. My good Vermont friend there. Good to see you, Outback.
You're welcome.
Low Rider, of course, in the house. Low, good to see you.
That name.
Connolly, hello, Tom.
Hey, Tom. I'm lost as usual. I don't know where we're at now.
I'm shuffling here. Finding the Trackway is in the house. Bill, good to see you.
Boy,
And of course, our good friend driving back from Florida after being out on the weekend with Matt Larson and Mike Ann and crew. Brian and Chewy go hiking, and I hope you all had a great time and a productive time.
Great outing out there.
Jay Fritz, there he is.
Hey, Jay.
You can tell Jay anything. Just don't tell him there's no Bigfoot in LBL. Little Kilroy is thrashing hoaxers.
Little Kilroy. Welcome.
Robert Denduven is in the house as well.
Robert,
and so
welcome.
is Nikki from Sasquatch Secrets.
Nikki.
Darren, good to see you. Mr. Jeff, Mr. Federal, Mr. 2505 Federal, good to see you.
Welcome.
Jeremiah from Bigfoot Society, good to see you.
Society.
The tackle technician, there he is. Tactician, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I believe that's fishing related. Tactician.
It is. Yeah.
I believe it is. Yeah. Love to go fishing. And it's getting about
Angel
that time
Nolan
again.
is in the house as well.
Angel, welcome.
And this guy's in the house too. I don't know what to think about that. And Brian Parsons. Hello, Brian. Good to see you, sir.
Brian?
Oh, of course. What's a show without Don Fuller being in here?
Don, appreciate you.
And I got Martin Stiltz. I'm in academia. And I think we're at the end for now, but I'm sure that will.
I see Russ Torcola.
Oh, yep. Russ is in the house. Yep, I may have missed him.
And that's all I can see. If we missed anybody, it ain't because we don't love you. It's the chat is hopping. It really is. And we appreciate having everybody in here. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for joining us.
Yes, sir. So now if you see me look over here from time to time, it's because I got the chat actually pulled up on another screen. So I'll be looking over there periodically to read. Actually, you know, I may do a double bubble here because I got time.
Well, you know,
so Darren,
ping pong watch.
Darren, how the hell are you?
Pretty good. Been busy weekend.
Yeah, not a good thing. And of course, our condolences to you, my friend.
Sorry to hear it. Yes.
Oh yeah, and then right behind that we had the Oklahoma Symposium yesterday.
Oh, oh, that's right. That's right. No, it rains. It poured. I guess it's like one thing after the other.
Yeah.
So how'd the symposium go? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, it was kind of a iffy thing because the rain come in, and so some of our vendors didn't show up because of that. But overall, we had close to about 250 people.
Nice.
We really didn't advertise as much as we usually do, and had some great speakers. We actually had Randy Savig, who's been gone for about 3 years. He actually come back, did a presentation. We had Robert Swain, Laugh Squatch, Big Jim Whitehead. He did a presentation. And then we had Daniel Allen Jones. He was our keynote speaker. So, and we had a lot of door prizes that got won by people. So I do got to say that we had some huge stuffed Bigfoot that we were giving away as door prizes. And a woman actually won the two biggest ones, and she turned around and gave them to these three little girls that was there, and it was just they just thought they were the greatest thing on earth.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so, but yeah, we even had Indian tacos with the fry bread shaped in the shape of Bigfoot feet. So
very nice. Oh, that Indian fry bread, so good.
Yeah.
So
But,
that's one of
yeah.
the things I got my fill of that while I was out in the Navajo res for a while. And man,
yeah, it's definitely why a lot of us Indians are a little chubby. So,
Got to have them carbs. Carbs is good.
yeah,
that's the only reason why I got skinnier was because I've stayed away from the fry bread all these years.
Oh man, love that stuff.
But yes, I kind of it's kind of funny. I bumped years ago. A couple of years ago, when I started really losing a lot of the weight, I went from years I was like 195 and I dropped down to 175. And I ran into Jason Hawes from Ghost Hunters, and he had seen me like a year and a half earlier, and he's like, "What?" I go to Jay. I go, "Jay, you're looking good. You lost a lot of weight." He goes, "Yeah, I've been trying." He goes, "How about you?" He goes, "How are you doing? It looks like you lost a lot of weight too." I go, "Diabetes."
yeah,
That'll do it.
He just started laughing. Not really. It was just I tend not to eat as much as I used to, but when I do eat.
yeah.
So, but so what's new on the Bigfoot front in Oklahoma? Anything good going on?
Well, not really anything good at the moment. We do know that there is turmoil down in Honobbe concerning the Honobbe Bigfoot Conference. They got two factions down there trying to fight for control of the name Honobbe Bigfoot Conference and Festival. But we were able to talk at the symposium, the MABRC. We're getting ready to start running out and doing quite a few more expeditions. We got some stuff that we want to try out, like we've got a new thing about where you put recorders out and you can actually, through the software, tell how many of a certain species is in the area and where it's at. So we're working on that. We want to try that probably next month. But outside of that, it's been pretty quiet for the last few months.
Now, I can't imagine with the advancements in AI, what some of those, what we can do with some of those recordings down the road when the technology catches up to that.
Well, this, you take control clips and you feed it into the program and you tell it to find all similar clips like that in the audio. So, even if you don't have what you consider a bona fide Bigfoot vocalization, you can make a copy of it in the clip where you find it, and then you tell the software to go through the entire file and find it. That way you're not sitting there having to listen to it second by second trying to find it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And imagine being able to take those clips and then eventually like uploading it to an AI bot, and it'll say, okay, this is what we heard in this video. We had a bird, we had this kind of bird, we had this kind of we had a coyote, but then we heard something we can't identify. That would be friggin' awesome. And I'm sure that's coming.
Well, now I did do a presentation on artificial intelligence in Bigfoot research, and we actually have it posted. I believe it's posted on the MABRC public page. I did it over at the Arkansas Bigfoot Conference last year, and then I did a repeat of it here at the Symposium. A lot of interesting stuff coming down the pike as far as artificial intelligence for us.
Yep. I know you're a tech guy. I love tech. I've been trying to immerse myself in as much AI, like learning a lot about it. And people have seen the kind of the dynamic shift even on this channel with the use of some AI generative stuff, AI voices and stuff like that to make my process a lot easier. And actually, it's amazing what it does just for the production value here. And I'm thinking about what kind of processes it's going to improve. And like here, look at this video. What do you see in this video? And have it kind of filter it out. I mean, are you scared of AI, or do you think there's more good there than bad?
I do think there's a lot of bad involved in it. We've seen a big influx in the last year and a half of people trying to pass off AI photos and even video, and claim that it was Bigfoot. So for us personally in the Bigfoot community, it just makes it rougher trying to put out the good, credible information out there and the video and pictures. So,
and I that's why Darren and I align so much, because we're all about trying to get that real information out there and try to get rid of the carnival barkers and the chaff, get that out of the way, because even though we look at the Bigfoot photo, we may turn around and go, that's AI. We can tell right away. But
yeah,
there's so many uneducated people in the public that will say, oh, that's a Bigfoot.
Yeah, and I like to attribute it to the fact, Steve, that you and me both started out about the same time.
We did.
And of course, we had the Bigfoot forums where all the older researchers hung out. And you, me, Sean Forker, Melissa Hovey, a whole bunch of us, we were the new generation coming in. And yeah, we got hammered pretty bad by the old timers, but they weren't doing it to be mean to us. They were like, hey, if you want to do more credible research, this is what you got to do. And a lot of us learned the lessons and moved forward and actually become better researchers. But a lot of other people ignored it, and they're the ones that put out really bad information now.
Right.
So I kind of consider our class was the best class
in a long time.
Yeah. So
yeah, I mean, I used to get that. Hey, listen, you don't want to put this out here because it's that, or it's potentially that, and it's so ambiguous that it's not going to necessarily further our cause.
Yeah.
And the way you further our cause is, even if something's bad, you say, hey, this is bad. And honesty is the best policy. And it's really funny because I'm summarizing my latest book I'm writing. And the latest book I'm writing is called The Psychology of Bigfoot. And it's basically it's a guide to, Bigfoot witnesses.
Yeah.
And part of that towards the end was this. And in this saying that always pops into my head is, when good people do nothing, bad things happen.
Yeah.
And for so many years, you and I took flack, and I'm sure Brent gets it too over there at the Tall Ones, because he's doing it now.
Yeah.
If you ignore hoaxers, they don't go away.
Yeah. And I will say this about Brent. When he first came in, he was trying to be friendly to everybody. And then he started learning, and I'm proud of where he come so far. He's really looked at everything and said, hey.
Right. But, and it's like people say, oh, well, the lunatics are running the asylum. And why I go, well, when you ignore hoaxers, when you don't confront people that are putting out bad evidence, when you turn the cheek and only concentrate on, I had one guy tell me, or one person, I don't research the researchers or the people or the witnesses. Well, if you're not doing that, then you're missing the boat too with that.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, that's the reason why the lunatics are running the asylum, because there's not enough people saying, hey, time out.
Yeah.
Enough of this stuff. If somebody puts out, and I got a great example of that, and I just picked up on that today. So I'm going to show you that in a minute. And I think you're going to get a good laugh out of it too, if you haven't seen it already. But if too many people don't take that push and say, hey, wait a minute, time out. So you take some flack from people you've never met before. Big deal.
Yeah.
You're at least projecting, and going to cause somebody to go, wait a minute, let me think about this. So Darren, I'm going to pop this up. I purposely put this up here because this was something new to me today. And I pretty much filtered it out within minutes of what their real motive is behind it. But we see this post, and this guy's been posting this out there. And I think you know the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Right. Here's this guy claiming to drive 70 miles an hour by this thing. And this is the picture he got of it. And clearly, I mean, the arm length is nothing. It's, at the hips, if not a little bit below the hips. Definitely not, it looks like a person in a Sasquatch, person in a Bigfoot suit.
Yeah.
But I mean, driving 70 miles an hour by that, are you going to get that kind of picture?
Well, even then, it looks like the person or whoever it is may even have a backpack on. Might have been a hitchhiker.
Could have been. Could have been. Yep. Could have been. But just a day earlier, the Secret Sasquatch Society posts this. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I did a little bit of digging. And not much digging. It was like all right there. Like, okay. So then I noticed something on their profile. Is that they're claiming to be a nonprofit organization, and their website is nothing but a gift page. So what they're doing is they're just basically putting this bull out there to get people to go to their little Bigfoot swag store.
Mm-hmm.
And what irritates me about that is I have my own swag store, but I've been busting my ass for 25 years to do this. And these people come along and start putting up hoaxes left and right.
Yeah.
And try and get people to buy their merchandise.
Yeah. Brian Parsons says my neighbor has the same statue. Talking about that last photo you showed. They sell those down, or did sell them down the street from us, Brian. Little Bigfoot concrete statues, yard statues. But you can get the big one like that one was.
But what even makes me even more angry about this is they're claiming to be a non-profit organization. Doing what? Right?
It would not surprise me if that's a Chinese-run page.
Well, it could be, but it has this like father, son, and mother, or father, daughter, mother, all wearing Bigfoot T-shirts on their big page. And I didn't go into checking to see if that was just a stolen picture off of somewhere. But to me, why would you? Where's that money going? It's going in their pockets is where it's going. They're not a nonprofit organization. They're not even an organization. It's just amazing.
Well, it's like I like to tell people, the day that Bigfoot comes out of the woods and starts demanding his cut of the profits on everything, everybody's going to be having to really cough up some money.
Right. Well, Bigfoot comes knocking on my door, wants a cut of the profits. Well, he can sit down for a photo shoot. Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can have a cut. Yeah, Eyes in the Woods. Hello, Eyes in the Woods. Yeah, that's fraud. Yeah, certainly is. To me, it not only has fraud in the context of how they're trying to like guerrilla market it, but the same, by the same thing, it's just an overall fraud. Their claims to being non-for-profits. I mean, you look at their webpage and it's nothing but pictures of mugs and little snippets like I just showed you with the statue saying, "Oh, look what I found in my driveway today." Now that person could turn around and say, "Hey, I was just advertising this thing we sell, even though they don't sell it." But
yeah, and then you have those. Used to have, I don't know if you still do now, but there used to be some YouTube channels that you could go like every day or every once a week or whatever. They would have a brand new video of the latest Bigfoot video that they got. Evidently they had them. They can just get a video anytime they go out in the woods. And yet they never had any other evidence other than these videos. Okay, a little questionable. I don't watch those channels anymore, but they're doing it for the clicks, for the views.
I mean, if you had to guess it, Darren, what's more prolific today, the Bigfoot whisperers or people just outright running hoaxes?
I would say it's probably the people doing the hoaxes, because they get their 15 minutes of fame. Everybody's like, "Oh, look at what this is," and then when they finally get called out on it, some of them will scamper off. Some of them will lay low for a year or two and then come back and reappear. And I think that's a big problem in the Bigfoot community is people who've been caught hoaxing or have really done people dirty and everything. They lay low for a couple of years and then they start trying to rebuild their presence online and everything. And these new people coming in, don't know the history behind them. So there they go. They start believing in what they're doing.
Well, it's kind of funny. I'm just looking at Mick's comment.
Too. Yeah.
No, Mick, no.
No.
No means no. I call, a lot of people say that's the Rick Dyer formula,
Yeah.
I have a hoax. But actually, to me, that's the Todd Standing formula. He was the first one to do that. He got called out on all that early BS he did with the missing people on there, the second grader sketch, the bags full of hair, the Sylvanic video one, and then he disappeared for like a year and a half. And then he came back with a revamped website and a revamped attitude, and people seem to have forgotten the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one reason why I've got the Squatchopedia up and running. I know that was started by Brian Brown and from the BFF, but he gave it to the AIBR, and then they let it just flat go down. So I restarted it and renamed it Squatchopedia 2.0 and started putting historical information on there so people can have a place to reference.
Right.
So.
And I think, Don may not be aware, but Don says, we need a Bigfoot Hoaxers website. And I think, years back, I'm not sure exactly what year, but you started the Bigfoot Hoaxers Exposed Facebook page.
Yeah. Well, actually, I didn't actually start it.
Oh, there you go.
Somebody else started it. And I think it was mainly just they was trying to expose just one hoaxer. And I joined, and then one day whoever started it dropped out, and Facebook was like, "Hey, we need an admin. Do you want it?" So I was like, "Yeah, why not?" And so I basically renamed it Bigfoot Hoaxers Exposed 2.0, and then we started running with it. And basically, I started posting a lot of information, screen captures, stuff like that, of what people were doing. And it's not just hoaxers that we expose. We expose the con men, people that do people dirty, like Bob Garrett, when he was conning people out of money, he got put on there.
And he too got caught up in his own hoax too, as well.
Yeah. So, and there's a lot of times, and I know you'll agree with me. There's a lot of times I'll reach out to you and say, Steve, what do you know about this? And there's times that we'll collaborate and expose somebody. So
yeah, and we're kind of in process of that right now, trying to figure out where to go from it.
Yeah,
because it kind of it reminds me of the Johnny Cash song "Walk the Line," because that's what it's doing right now, walking the line.
Yeah, there's some people out there, when you expose them, they go all bully on you, and they'll threaten you online and everything, but they'll never say it to your face. So,
but I will say this: the Texas, Oklahoma area has some of the orneerest hoaxers in the world I've ever met.
Yeah, and it's been going on for a long time, man. We had Mike Sales. All his videos were just ridiculous. And
now they're getting the stamp of approval from MK Davis.
Yeah, even though everybody that's ever worked that investigation has told him, hey, Mike Sales hoaxed all that stuff. But goes back to that relevancy, Some of the people that are in the Bigfoot community, they do one thing that gets them some relevance in the community. They like that, they enjoy it, so they go and try to do something else to one up their previous relevance, and it continues and it continues, and then eventually they start hoaxing stuff, and it just gets to the point to where they have to create stuff to become to stay relevant. I hope that makes sense. Like you exposed somebody here a while back. They actually admitted that they had to go and create something just because everybody on YouTube was demanding that they have more content. I think it was the reaching out for an apple, and the guy had fur on his arm and a black glove.
Oh, that was actually Todd Standing.
Okay,
that was a Todd close. We did have a guy who went on one show and had made some claims, and he eventually admitted to us he made it up. We body language the hell out of it, and he admitted, he was lonely, and he wanted to kind of. And we understood him. We didn't really shun him too badly. We didn't shut him out. We were like, okay, you screwed up. So,
but there it goes back. Here we are trying to think about all these hoaxes. There's so many of them out there that
we get them confused.
Yeah. So that's why Bigfoot Hoaxers Exposed 2.0 and even Squatchpedia puts that information out there, so everybody can go and take a look and read and see the screen captures and the video itself. And your own site has quite a few hoaxes exposed.
Yep,
so.
Hall of Shame. Yep. It's funny how we see hoaxes repeat themselves quite a bit too.
Yeah.
And I recently did a video, and part one of them was the Sean Bannon hoax. The creature of the giant sequoias. That famous clip of where the guy was at the creek or something, and the Bigfoot jumps off and he goes running and scampering. And it's only like a 2-second or 3-second clip. And that sucker just keeps getting recirculated. Look at this video. Look at this video. And I think Don tells me that Arkansas Bigfoot with the glove, Steve. That was the Arkansas Bigfoot with the glove. I may have completely forgotten about it.
Well, it goes back to too many hoaxes, Steve. We can't keep up with them ourselves.
Especially as we get older.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
So.
Well, it's not even an original idea, though. Standing already did that.
Yeah. One of my favorites though, debunking, was the Mississippi Skunk Ape video. Everybody was saying, "Oh, is this the biggest?" And so I started digging on that, and it came back to a TV show.
Yeah.
And that the guy that reported it and set these bogus, you can't tell me this guy did not set up bogus, websites or Facebook accounts or YouTube channels, because that's the only thing he ever posted. Nothing after, nothing before. Boom. Same day that video came out. And then I just say, let me just, I'm using private investigator databases. I can't find this guy anywhere in the United States. So I Google him, and all of a sudden it hits, but it hits on a character in this TV show. And then I get the TV show and I watch it and I go, well, there it is.
Yeah.
And it was so fake that, I knew I even knew the actor's name who portrayed him. It's right there in the IMDb, Internet Movie Database. But on the TV show, they blur the actor's face as if to say it's real. Right, to keep the mockumentary or fakementary or whatever you want to call it going. But yet, there was a rather well-respected researcher that claimed to have met with him and to have spent time with him and talked to his family. And why, thank you, Western New York Bigfoot. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it. I believe I knew who that is, too. Hello, Mrs. Snyder. Good to see you. Molly. It's Molly.
Thanks, Molly.
Hello, Molly. Good to see you. And Darren, I don't know if you ever got to meet Joe Snyder. Great guy. Western New York Bigfoot. Well, unfortunately, we lost him about 5 months ago. Good friend of us, good friend of the channel, honest researcher, had his own sighting, and I believe is his better half in here dropping in on the show. So that was really cool. Somebody's saying different guy, Steve. No, and so gotcha. Gotcha. That's right. It's Western New York, but not Western, not WNY Big. Oh, well, Thank you, sir. I appreciate it, Ryan.
Ryan, thank you.
And I know you don't get along with Ryan, and I think I've kind of got Ryan in the right direction. And I think, and you know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
And I know Ryan was originally posting a lot of stuff. I would say, hold on. I've had a lot of talks with him over the years, and you know, so he's starting to curtail down some of his. He's curtailed greatly some of the stuff he's putting out there. And I do not believe Ryan's one of those guys. Ryan, I'm not saying this in a bad way. He got Bigfoot on the brain really bad. I have no real doubt to believe. I mean, I sat and talked with him about a certain encounter. I have no doubts at all he saw something. And I think after that, you know, and I remember Peter Weimer, who knew him before even me, was saying, this guy, you know, I'm worried about him. He's going out and buying all this equipment and cameras and stuff because he's so obsessed with it.
Yeah.
So I think that's what happened to Ryan. I know Ryan's really not a bad guy, and I know you guys have had some bad exchanges between the two of you. But we'll just avoid them.
After you have your first sighting, you can get Bigfoot on the brain. It happened to me. You know, I will freely and openly admit it. Yeah. I thought everything was Bigfoot there for a minute because, you know, this thing shook me up. It really shook my worldview.
And unfortunately, you know, we see a lot of folks that turn into the Bigfoot whisperers because they got Bigfoot on the brain. There's nobody there kind of to take them in and say, listen, before you go any further, you got to stop and just get a handle yourself.
Yeah.
And I think because most hoaxing is psychological in a lot of different ways, even unintentional hoaxing that people think that's a Bigfoot. Had a great case in Catskill, New York, and where 4 of the 6 family members that lived in the household had seen this thing out in the yard one night, including their 4-year-old. And I interviewed everybody separately, including the 4-year-old. But then they were like, every bump in the night became Bigfoot, everything. And they say, we said, you know, let's put some bagels out there because they got leftover bagels in this bakery. Let's put them out there and see and my God, every night it's grabbing the bagels. They're all gone, completely all gone. So we set a trail camera up there one night. They put the bagels out. I came back next day. Oh, the bagels are all gone. Let me get the video. And it was the fattest raccoon you'd ever see.
Yeah.
But you see, that's how people can fall into that trap. They have a legitimate thing. So, you know, that's one of the toughest things, I think, as doing the debunking is to try to, you got to kind of parse it to see where they really fall. Are they really bullshit artists, pardon the French, or are they just going awry? And I was lucky enough to talk to Ryan enough to know he was going awry in certain areas.
Yeah, Lester Taylor says, is Bigfoot on the brain a technical name? What's the cure?
I like to refer to it as confirmation bias.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So, and, you know, a lot of people will go invest a lot of money in equipment and stuff. And they're like, man, I got to catch something. I spent all this money. And then when they catch something that they think might be a Bigfoot, oh, it is. It's a Bigfoot. Sure. That's why I prefer using the terms on all my evidence is possible or probable.
Right.
You know, I never say it is because somebody can come up and say, hey, that was me out there in a costume, you know, and kind of blows it away.
And you know what? I eventually got that video renamed. It was formerly known as a New York Baby video. I kind of renamed it to the Pigeon video now, like for the guy after who shot the video. Because you made a great point there. You're like, you know, I really should be calling it that because we really don't know what it is for sure. None of us do, no matter how we look at it. We all have our opinions on it, but we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And so I said, you know what? We'll call it the Pigeon video. Some people may know it as the New York Baby video, but it's the Pigeon video now, and that's how we play with it.
But you know, you and me we didn't have words. We just had a discussion about it when I come out with all my little screen captures. But we talked it out, and you know, like we both got opinions, and we moved on.
Exactly.
So there's some researchers out there that if you say, "Are you sure?" I mean, you don't even have to say anything really mean, but man, they come at you with a vengeance after that.
Well, one that comes into mind is Todd Gatewood.
Yeah.
Who actually made a very insulting remark to Dr. Meldrum, because we had him on about a month ago now. And I turned around to him and I very nice, politely said to him, listen, I said, I can't allow you to insult somebody on my page, but if you can argue your point without taking it personal, that'd be much appreciated. And what did I get back? I got back, oh, you're this and you're that and you're this and you're that. Okay, goodbye. And there's certain terms for what they have, and part of it is they have what they call cognitive dissonance, and through that, they have illusionary superiority, and they feel that they feel they're qualified to do stuff that, and I always say now, especially in the case of Gatewood, who's number one, new to the Bigfoot community, relatively new to the Bigfoot community, and number two, a background as a financial planner. He's not a video expert. He's not a photographic expert. He's none of those. And when people say, hey, you're doing it wrong, or, this is not correct, he goes off the keel of it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I think you and I have a lot more experience with video than he had, because we've been at it for 25 plus years.
Yeah, it's been too long, Steve.
Anyway, yeah, I saw you look. I go, oh my God, it has been that long, hasn't it?
Yeah. So, yeah, I actually really started doing research in '91, and that's 33 years ago. So,
yeah.
But back then, we actually had the older timers. I call them the old timers, guiding us and everything. And they eventually told us, hey, you guys are going to have to be the ones to lead the community, when we're gone. But holy cow, they didn't expect to have to deal with Facebook and YouTube and TikTok.
Right.
So
all this social media is like, the age of social media has blown up Bigfoot. It's like Bigfoot is everywhere.
Hello, Michael. Good to see you, brother. Oh, and I see Michael's a member, and see he's a moderator too. That's why he's in blue. Tack.
Mike, yeah, Tack.
And I'm sure now that he's got the gift membership, I'm sure he's going to go over and see the video of him baking his cookie this morning.
I hope so. Yes.
And guys. Then hear me go on a profane rant about it. In typical New York fashion.
Yeah, that's not really roughing it. Okay, baking cookies in the woods. No, that's not roughing it.
No. Especially s'mores cookies.
Yeah.
Up, and there's our buddy Charlie Wonton. Hello there, boys. So
we had a question earlier, Steve.
Fire away. Oh yeah, we do have questions, don't we?
From the Tackle Tactician, Darren. He wanted to know, Darren, do you think AI in combination with a quantum computer will be able to discern fictional pictures, video hoaxes?
I don't think that we'll ever see that done for Bigfoot research. Even if we actually have Bigfoot brought in and, it's all proven to science, right. I don't think they're going to run all that stuff through a quantum computer. Basically, we got what we got. We got our home computers, or, I got servers here in the computer room for the MABRC that we store all of our information and run our websites and stuff like that. But there's no way I want to be able to.
I like the idea earlier you're talking about with the AI actually picking out the animal sounds for you and being able to go through the tracks and say, okay, for this sound that you requested, we have like 25 occurrences. Stuff like that would just be awesome.
Yeah, we've actually got the server sitting over here for that, to where people in the group from other locations can actually connect through the network or through the internet. Yeah, and use that server. So
for evidence review, oh man, that's top notch. I mean, back years ago, 2006, 6, 7, something like that. I was doing that 24-hour recording deal. And now I was making 6-hour videotapes and changing them out 4 times a day. So here we had VHS videotapes. Now that's great when you got it on tape, but somebody has to sit back and go through and watch all those.
Oh yeah.
And even on fast forward, it still takes a long time to watch a 6-hour tape. With the AI, if I had, could do now what I was doing then, I would digitize that video and then let the AI sift through it, and boom, instead of several hours of watching videotapes, I'd be free to do something else.
Yeah, pretty much anymore. Digital video, my camcorders that I use,
Right.
It goes and use digital memory. That way I don't have to do the old days. I sitting here with the recorder plugged into my microphone port on the computer, and having to record the whole thing. That's just not beneficial to us at all. So now it's all digitized. I can load it up on the computer, browse to it, and we actually can do all of our analyzing within hours instead of days like we used to. Yeah. So,
in that discussion, I kept thinking of BirdNet by Cornell EDU, and that you hear a sound in the woods, you put it through. But I found out something very interesting about BirdNet. It's very similar to the way Melba Ketchum tested her DNA, is that they put that up against just birds. And when you have that, the only results you are going to get are birds. And I remember like the Whitehall or the Whitehall whoop. I don't even know if we still have that on the board here. Yeah, I mean this very sound. Which we had gotten in Research 1, unprovoked. It actually said it was a loon, and it was like, that's not a loon. And number one, we're in the middle of the forest. Loons stick to the waterways because they don't normally walk very well on land. They're very clumsy on land. And we're in, not only that, but we're 1,800 up elevation from sea level, and we're deep in a mountainside. So it's like there's no way that could be a loon. And then I started putting some other things, including people talking, and they would come up as birds. So I realized that they're just testing it against birds and giving the most likely probability of such.
Yeah.
If something says 100% and it sounds like a bird, chances are like I did one sound and it came up as the eastern screech owl. I was in Vermont. I'm like, I know I've heard that before. I'm pretty sure that sound is a bird. The howling, I have no clue what the howling back is, because it was going back and forth. This thing was oh, and then you hear the screech owl. So what ends up happening is I put it in and I go, okay, I know that's an eastern screech owl because their habitat is not only parts of New York, but parts of Vermont. And I was in Vermont. So that made all the sense in the world. So I can pretty much rule that out. But if something like I put the war in there and it came up to some bird that was only, that only habituates in, I think, India. So well, that can't be the bird because that bird is not even here. So it has its uses, but you got to use it with, you got to kind of interpret what the findings are a lot of times.
Well,
Steve,
and
I'm sorry, Darren. Steve, Cryptic Crystal just popped up to chat here and had a $5 thing. Oh,
well, thank you, Crystal. We always try to have the honest conversations here.
That's right.
You're not going to find any cryptozoology here. That's for sure.
So, but yeah, one of the things that the MABRC and an Arkansas group named Arkansas Primate Evidence Society, led by Robert Swain, we also did Project Silent Hills, where we actually went and tested how far vocalizations, wood knocks actually would carry. And we did it in 3 different sessions, and we're getting ready to do it on water here probably this summer. But we actually found that vocalizations don't carry as far as we originally thought.
Right.
Same thing for wood knocks. If you hear a clear wood knock, it's up within 100 to 200 feet of you easily.
Right.
So
yeah. What I find amazing is that you can hear a wood knock really clear. I mean, really clear. And then you listen to your Zoom recording and it sounds like it's miles away.
Yeah.
And that's one of the bad things. Now, the lucky thing is that whoop got recorded, and there's a whole, I think I have like a 2-minute recording where the guys are talking about, they believe they're seeing eye shine through their thermal imagers. They're seeing something that's reflecting back at them, you know, two eyes, it looks like eyes. And then you hear me in the background. And what I'm doing is of course I've been up there for years. These guys have been up. One guy, the guy recording it was a documentarian, and he's making a documentary about Bigfoot in New York. He did one on Florida. I released that a few months ago. His name is Eric Swanson. And he kept his audio running at all times. Smart guy. But that audio equipment was so damned good. I mean, you saw how clear it picked up, better than a Zoom.
Yeah.
And all I did was amplify it just a little bit. But man, that's just like, and at first I thought that was the actual, because I was in the base camp team. And there was 12 of us. I was in the base camp team, and then they were out on the road. They were getting ready to take a hike down the road, and they saw this, and they were talking. And I heard 2 whoops because they called back after it.
Yeah.
And it was quiet. And I saw Alex running back. I could see his red light. You know, I don't know if you know Alex Petikoff, but he was running back. So I'm like, what's going on? He goes, didn't you hear that? I'm like, wait a minute. Wait, did you guys whoop once or twice? I said, no, that first one was out there. Oh. You know, typical because we have no idea, like they whooped twice. But just before that, there I am going, you know, you can hear on the audio, I'm going, I'm whistling to see, you know, I go, hey guys, come on, you know, I'm here, you know my voice. I've been up here for 20 years. You guys know who I am. Come out and say hello. And that was it. And within, 3 minutes of me doing that, we get that vocalization, which is wild when you think about it. Like, but we ended up, like you said, in relation to that, we ended up going down to about a quarter of a mile down the road to near Camp 9. Because there was people at Camp 9. And we're like, would they be hoaxing us? But we got down there, and like their music was blaring in their camp. They were playing hip hop. We could hear them talking. We could hear there was a guy and a girl. We could tell there was only 2 there. But we could hear bottles clinking, so they were drinking. And we stayed down there for like 20 minutes. I'm like, I don't think it was these guys at all. And then I'm like, hey, then I radio up to them. I go, guys, can you give me a really loud whoop? And they really loud whoop, and all we heard down there was whoop. It was just so minuscule.
Yeah, Steve, I think you're starting to get a gremlin in your microphone. It's not doing it now, but while you were talking a minute ago, it's like garbled. But,
that's it. Well, it could be just I don't know.
It may be. I don't know.
Hey, I did see Texas Rangers posted something, and just want to clarify it. He's talking about wintertime can help with recording long distances. When we did the Silent Hills project in the wintertime, what we discovered is it actually cuts the distance in half of what you can hear.
Wow.
So even in wintertime, the cold will actually cut down the amount or the distance that you can hear vocalizations and wood knocks.
Yep. Well, hello, Mike. Good to see you, Mr. Waldy. Good to see you, sir. And the other thing too is for those worried about my sound, what I did is I killed the extra chat that I had going there, so that could be possible. So I have only one window.
It's working fine now.
Yeah, it's probably because it was just taking a little bit too much bandwidth.
Maybe.
And that's funny because I have a tremendous amount of bandwidth I use. By the way, Mike said, "What winter? I'm in Texas."
Well, we won't hold that against him.
That's about true, man. And when I lived in New Mexico, southwest New Mexico, there, or southeast New Mexico, in the wintertime, all you needed was this little light jacket. And by lunchtime, man, you were in t-shirts. It was great. I miss it. Oh no. It's the men in black. They're trying to knock Steve off. But no, his mic sounds good. It's good now, Steve. It's fine.
Yeah, it just must have been a bandwidth glitch, which happens so much. And Brian, also a lot of people, a few people know Eric in this group. And Brian, should we go hiking? Eric is awesome, super great guy. Yep. Yes, he was down in Florida with Matt and crew as well. For those who know, Matt was doing his final investigation into the Florida corridor he likes investigating into. Mm-hmm. And he had a bunch of people down there to try to throw everything at it this weekend. So I hope they had some good results.
I hope so too.
Yeah, me too. But unfortunately, Tractor Trailer said otherwise. So even if I was able to go, I would have been like, oh.
Dang, those big rigs.
So, obviously, and I don't know if you want to get into it, but the most prolific hoaxing I think ever happened to a group and kind of a serial hoaxing was good old Ed Smith. And I remember that time. And, I look at, those kind of things like the whole Dyer affairs, both 1 and 2 and stuff like that. I kind of look at them now laughingly and very much now it's in the past. It's in perspective now. So that helps. And, let's explain good old Daisy in the Box to the folks that don't know the story. I think it's a great story overall.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, Ed Smith actually joined the forum, and most people think that when you join the forum, you're an MABRC member, but you're not. We have organizational members, and then we have forum members. So when he come on board, he joined as a forum member, and then he started just kind of not trolling, but just watching who was posting what. And then he started slowly making posts, and then he started talking about Original Six, his so-called group. And he was sending me like the policies and procedures for their group. They had an incident down in South Oklahoma where supposedly they found trackways and a Bigfoot possibly cut itself on some tin metal at a barn. And he supplied me an AutoCAD drawing of where all the tracks were according to GPS coordinates. Something that, truthfully, it would take several weeks to do the amount of information in there. So he kind of started building this thing up to where, wow, they're putting together this stuff. The policies and procedures were halfway decent. And then he started talking to Randy Harrington on the phone a lot. And he basically got Randy to believe pretty much that there was a Original Six and they had all this going on. And he kept working on me, but I kept saying, well, where's the picture for this? Where's that? Where's this? So he didn't talk to me as much as he did Randy because I was asking questions that, he wasn't ready to give me the information. So then he proposed a summit meeting between us and several other Southern groups where he claimed that they were talking about giving us some thermals and stuff like that so we could repeat their stuff, So right at the last minute, Bullet Maker, Doug Bilby, blew up on Ed demanding presence and stuff like this. That's where we was going to do some of this testing at. So that disrupted everything. And Ed kind of laid low for a month or two, and he kind of went after Bullet and caused all that. So then for about another 2 years, I believe it was, he would post stuff. He would send me his Project Horizon layout, which showed a 4-mile stretch of ridgeline down around Honubby where they were going to put motion sensing towers and stuff like that. And it was all, being a tech guy, I looked at it, and everything technical wise, it was sound stuff. So then eventually he said that his group was going to wind down operations. Then one day, out of the blue, he just posts on the forum that Daisy in the box. And we didn't even know about it. I was at work. Randy Harrington called me and said, "Hey, this was posted 2 hours ago. Did you know about it?" And by that time, Robert Lindsay and Bigfoot Evidence, they'd already seen it. They were running with it. And it set a series of things in motion. And he wanted to do a bridging team. And
Right.
I told him I wanted to pick the people that was going to be on the independent team. Of course, Steve, you was one of them. Melissa Hovey was another. Abe Del Rio. And then we had Kathy Strain and Dr. Meldrum. They agreed to do it. And like I told all of y'all.
Darren,
Yeah.
just for 1 second, Bear, to break it down for all our at-home listeners that don't know what Daisy in the box was code for, what was that code for?
Basically, it was code for they had captured a Bigfoot. So, but like I told you, Steve, and I even told Dr. Meldrum, I said, until we have a ticket and we're sitting on the airplane going to fly to see this thing, I didn't really put much faith in it.
Right.
And sure enough, when we announced the bridge team and who I was going to be there,
and we did give him an ultimatum too.
Yeah, and
that was I remember saying we need to give him an ultimatum because that'll either make or break him.
Yeah, and then it wasn't, but maybe 12 hours later, he announced that the group that currently had Daisy in the box was the group that his group had sold everything to. And basically at that point, I had told Harrington that, hey, if he pulls out at the last minute on this with any excuse whatsoever, I'm calling him out as a hoaxer because I'm not going to go through this crap again. And quite frankly, he pulled out, so we called him out. And, then he went on Bigfoot forums and said that, he'd been hoaxing us for the last 4 years. I still cannot say, and this has got me in trouble when I said it, I can't confirm or deny that they did have a Bigfoot. I really don't know if there was actually a Bigfoot or not. But after all this time that's passed by and nobody has leaked the information that there was a Bigfoot, I seriously doubt that there ever was a Bigfoot. So,
and I'll say this, that with that whole it's amazing what and let's face it, folks, to continue this hoax, because he was on my podcast when we were doing the radio side of things a couple of times. And you're right, his stuff sounded real sound. And I think this guy had some serious psychological issues to, come up with technology and plans that are sound in theory. Right? Means he's spending a lot of time doing this, a lot of his own time thinking about this, doing this. And then to lay the lies on you, including meeting you guys personally.
Well, now, he actually did meet us personally.
Yeah. Right.
We actually ate lunch with him in Muskogee at the Golden Corral. And Randy Harrington had a picture of us all standing there together. But Randy wasn't technical minded, so he lost that picture on his phone. And I wish he wouldn't have never did it, because if we would have posted that, then that would have took away everybody's gripes that, Ed Smith didn't exist.
Yeah, when you think about it, do we even know his name was Ed Smith, or was that a pseudonym?
Well, when it all collapsed on him, we actually found his we did find out all the information about him. He actually worked for a Coca-Cola company there south of Stillwell as their IT guy. And Matt, oh dang now, but I can't think of Matt's last name. Sorry, Matt, if you're listening.
Nap?
No, it wasn't. Knapp was one of them, but it was Matt from the BFRO. Matt Pruitt.
Moneymaker. Oh, Matt Pruitt.
No,
Matt
Pruitt,
Yeah.
yeah.
Pruitt. Yeah.
They both did some checking, and they actually found his mom's phone number, called her house to try to talk to him. And so, you know, when it all collapsed, me and Randy had did a lot of investigation, but we didn't know that he worked at a Coca-Cola plant or company, because we just didn't have that information at the time. But we always comparing notes with each other. He'd call Randy and say something, and he'd call me and say basically the same thing, and me and Randy would call each other just right after, and you know, make sure what was said, you know, if there's any difference. So you know, we did everything we could to try to weed it out, but it just, he kept building in by providing me, you know, the policies and procedures for a dead body recovery, you know, this, and I'd read it and I was like, holy cow, this is down to, you know, chop a finger off, chop a toe off, chop an ear off, you know, at least you got these. You can't take a whole body out. So what they had decided to do apparently was to take certain body parts to confirm it. And so a lot of the stuff that he wrote up, apparently, I think we lost Steve.
He's just off camera. I'm sure he's still.
Go.
Yeah.
Okay. But a lot of the policies and procedures that he gave to me, supposedly from the original 6, I basically edited them and, you know, created the policies and procedures that the MABRC uses, you know, because they're so sound.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the here's an interesting thing. We often talk using the colloquial terms sociopath, which is a colloquial term for any person, any anti-personality disorder. And I don't believe Ed was a sociopath. I believe he was the higher one, a psychopath.
Yeah.
Because sociopaths are really, they I can't think of the word right now. They when you're openly exposed, like you're not hiding it.
Yeah.
Whereas the psychopath will use charm, will use a high IQ, and obviously this guy, to come up with all this information, had a pretty good IQ, and hid it very well for the longest time.
Yeah.
Now, my question would be, do you think there may have been a trigger either going on with you guys, or maybe there was a trigger with him himself we don't know about, but for him to kind of become so open about Daisy in the Box? That word is at the tip of my tongue and I can't remember it for some reason. Age, hate it.
To be honest, I think he was on the verge of losing any. Let me explain it this way. When Ed come on the scene, he took some of the limelight away from Bulletmaker. So Bulletmaker attacked Ed. He attacked anybody that was actually was even thinking about talking to Ed, because he was taking his limelight. There towards the end, Ed had lost most of the limelight. Even when he posted, nobody really paid attention to him on the forum. So then, all out of the blue, he posts this. And one thing that always made me mad was he would post a few things in the past, but he would always call me and say, hey, can I post this, you know, on your forum? You know, fantastic. But then all out of the blue, he posts probably the most controversial thing that he could have posted, and didn't even let me know about it. I actually called him. It was like 2.5 hours after he posted it. And I called him. I was like, what the hell's going on, Ed? Why didn't you ask me before you posted this? Because we had so many, I think we had close to 100,000 hits, and our web server was only designed to handle 10,000 hits a minute. And so it took the forum down. Everybody's like, oh, they're hiding information. No, the web server couldn't handle it.
Right. Yeah.
And so for him to just come out like that, I think his 15 minutes of fame was starting to really wane. And he had to do something to get himself back in the limelight. And, we had everybody wanting to interview him. They was trying to talk to him. This was a big thing. And,
sure.
Then, truthfully, Randy and I sit there and we tried to figure out how to address this, because what could you really say? Everybody was like, oh, MABRC is involved. No, it just got posted on our forums by a forum member. And so the only thing I could think of is, we can neither confirm or deny, because we don't know either way.
Sure. And
everybody got all bent out of shape because I said that. And it's like, what else can I say?
Right.
So, but yeah, when I talked to you, Steve, when I talked to Melissa, even Dr. Meldrum, I said, Doc, unless we got the ticket in our hand and we're on that plane and we're flying down there may be some truth to it, but I can't tell you either way at the moment.
Yep.
So people just, I actually seen a lot more mental issues with people in the Bigfoot community, because how dare we keep all this information to ourselves? And it's like, what information? I'm getting the same information y'all are getting. So, it's like, what the heck? You expect me to get my crystal ball out and, find stuff that.
Well, what I found is that the Bigfoot community is just a microcosm of everybody else. I'm sure that has happened a lot of times. I mean, you look at trying to think of a case where everybody was trying for information. The example of Delphi murders case. Those two girls that, everybody was looking for information from the police. The police weren't releasing it. People don't understand investigations are pragmatic. You can't release information sometimes until you can confirm it, number one. Number two, that you don't want to say something off reservation. And I remembered the word I meant to say earlier was telegraph. Sociopaths tend not to telegraph their moves, whereas psychopaths do telegraph their moves quite a bit. The whole issue of, we want answers and we want it now. That has been the entitlement society. And I think that began when we began the 24-hour news cycle, because, when we just got news several times a day at intervals, we ask the questions then and we wait. And then we ask the questions again and we wait. Now, people are used to having their questions answered 24/7.
Yeah.
And very similar to me, everybody, like when that whole Dyer thing blew up in 2008, everybody was asking me, well, what do you think? Do you think Biscardi's involved? Well, I haven't seen evidence yet to prove that.
Yeah.
Right. And people blew up on that.
Yeah.
The fact is that when I got out of that encampment, I started getting my messages again. And then I started building that evidence. That's the way an investigation works.
Yeah.
You don't have the answers at the beginning. You have them at the end. And
yeah. See, the only thing.
Same goes for you.
Yeah. The only thing we could do was just wait and see. If we would have walked in there and actually seen a Bigfoot, then, we had Melissa, because she had a radio show at the time too. And Abe had his radio show. So it's like, okay, we could come back. You guys could get on the air and, say, yay, there is a Bigfoot there. But just truthfully, for about 2 years there, I had pretty much decided that Ed was full of it because there was just too many red flags popping up. And
well, the one thing that to me, and when Ed started saying things about these trackways in Oklahoma and stuff like that, I'm thinking to myself, he kind of always alluded that you guys were involved as far as making some of these finds. Because I think if he didn't do that, the question would arise in my mind is, if all this stuff is going on in Oklahoma, how the hell does Darren not know about it or Randy know about it?
Yeah. There was things that was happening that we knew about, that the only reason Ed knew about it was because it was posted on the forum. But yeah, just the way he worded it, it was almost like he was trying to say, yeah, I'm in bed with the MABRC, we're doing all this stuff. And that wasn't the case.
Right.
But I will say this, I was actually, I'm working on the book about the Daisy in the Box
that's going to be good.
incident. And I've got all the screen captures, all the emails. I don't have the text messages. I wish I would have been able to catch all the text messages. But there towards the end of the Daisy in the Box, Ed stopped taking my calls and resorted to text messaging. So that right there was another red flag. It's like, okay, now he's able to sit here and think what he's going to text me instead of trying to talk to me on the phone and be caught off guard by a question.
But the positive to that is you have it in writing.
Yeah.
That's the one positive. It's like I had a very similar issue with a hoaxer several months ago. And for folks who are wondering about that one, that was, you'll see the videos. It was about the picture that was a screen cap. Chris found where it came from. We put it up there. Then he came up with this excuse that he was blaming on his long deceased co-host of his podcast and couldn't keep his timeline straight and stuff like that. So he wanted to call me. I said, no, I'll keep it on text or messenger because I want to keep this on record.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he was texting me all these lies that I could say, no, look, because he didn't realize that from minute one, I had captured all the other stuff. And
yeah. And that's one thing that I screen capture everything. Even when people post video or photos that it's obvious a hoax, I download it to my database because that way 5 years from now somebody starts regurgitating it saying, oh, look at this Bigfoot. No, this is where it come out, this is what was said. And that was the benefit of doing the Bigfoot Hoaxers Exposed. We put the screen captures, everything that we can get as far as information related to that, and we'll put it on there. And if the person that actually it's about wants to join the Bigfoot Hoaxers Exposed and try to explain what happened or defend themselves, I'm all for it. But we usually have them get in there and they just start attacking everybody.
Right.
So but that's one thing I tell everybody. If you post in here and you say this is a hoaxer or this is a con man or whatever, you better have the screenshots to back it up. That way people, when they come in, they can see what was said and what was done. And, then they can form their own opinion. So,
it's like, and the beauty of that is that there's people doing that all the time. And you can, social media leaves receipts a lot of times, even if we don't have that screen captured, usually you can find that in researching.
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny. There was the big hubbub about the Bigfoot shot, video shot on the Colorado train there. And lo and behold, about 2 months afterwards, I'm going through some stuff and I come up with another same train, same area, person in a Bigfoot suit by the train dated 2014. And it's like, well, there you go.
Yeah. Well, and actually, they didn't even reveal it, but the whole that little train is actually called the Sasquatch Adventure Train.
Well, there you go.
So it's like it just makes sense. They're going to show you somebody in a Bigfoot costume because it's the Sasquatch Adventure Train.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's it seems to be a full-time job anymore, just keeping up with all the hoaxers, that are coming out. And even the self-hoaxers, the ones that have confirmation bias, and it's like, oh, I got a Bigfoot. Okay, where's your red circle at? Because I don't see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So
right. Yeah. Now they're not even using red circles.
Yeah.
Lester Taylor says one lie leads too many lies. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's right.
Okay.
Most time the hoaxers get so confused because they can't remember what they told somebody else.
Yeah. That's why I do screen capture. So it's all,
always tell the truth, guys. Unless now everybody lies, guys. If your wife or girlfriend or whatever says, "Honey, how do you like my new dress?" or "Honey, how do you like my new hairstyle?" your words better be, "Oh, I love it. It's beautiful."
Yeah.
But regardless what you think. But now, when it comes to Bigfoot, stick to the truth.
Did we okay, sorry. I just had to answer something in chat real quick.
Yeah, I appreciate that because she asked.
Yeah.
Well, I got a question for Darren. I would like to know. Now, you mentioned Bullet Maker a few times, and I was wondering, Darren, have you ever had a chance to do any research or investigation on the land down there where Bullet Maker was doing his research?
Yeah, we the MABRC did multiple expeditions up there, and even though Bullet Maker, when he fell out with us over Ed Smith, started screaming that he hoaxed us down there, one thing that people got to understand is Bullet Maker was terrified of the dark. He would not even go out on his front porch after the sun went down because he was terrified. And he was saying that him and his brothers would come down there and do things while we were camping down at the hidden bean field. And it's like, we actually have emails that he sent to other people where he admitted that, he was just making it up because him and his brothers are all too old. And, but we did have sightings down there. We did have encounters. About 8 or 9 years ago, when we had a lot of flooding here in Oklahoma, the Spencer Creek watershed actually was overfilled. Mm-hmm. And so we took some low draft boats and went back up in there with thermals to see if we could see anything.
Oh, great idea.
We stayed on Corps of Engineer land, but we went up behind where his house was on the Corps of Engineer land just to see if we could spot anything. But there definitely was Bigfoot up there. But when when Bullet started screaming, "Oh, I hoaxed them the whole time," it just basically ruined all his own sighting reports that he had up there. So,
and that's debatable why he would do something like that or say something like that. He may have been trying to protect his own research area from other people looking.
I think mainly it was because his limelight faded real quick because the MABRC was coming back, from expedition saying, "Oh, we did have activity this time." The hidden bean field, you couldn't see it from the road, and it was down on Spencer Creek.
Yeah.
And it seemed that the local Bigfoot would make a circle around that whole regional area and eventually come back to that bean field where they could, sit down, rest and all that, before they moved back into the Corps of Engineer land. And of course, when we parted ways with him, I think he was just so angry that his limelight was fading that he tried to hurt us by saying, you know, oh, I hoaxed him and all this, but he just really shot himself in the foot.
That's kind of what I was thinking too. For a while though, Bulletmaker was very popular, and I think he was kind of eating that up a little bit. You know, I don't know for sure, but it seemed like to me that I got that impression. And then when the tension went away, just wasn't happy with that.
Yeah, I'll say this right there towards the end, before we did part ways with him. Every time the MABRC went up there on expeditions, he was demanding that we cut trees down that had fallen. You know, we didn't mind doing some of the work around his place since we was coming on there to research.
Right.
But he even asked Randy Harrington to go and put aluminum siding on his house for free, because Randy has a siding company.
Bullet always seemed profit motivated or wanted something for it, which really turned me off to him quite a bit.
Yeah, and one of the things that him and Ed Smith got into it about was we was going to do an infrasound experiment on Bullet's property, and Doug just flat emailed him and said, hey, I want 50% of the cut of y'all's DVD project when it comes out to be able to use my property. And it's like, holy cow. We're just doing an experiment, and it would be something that they actually had, supposedly Ed Smith and his group had the equipment that, you know, they could see a Bigfoot a couple miles off, you know, with thermal and stuff.
Right.
So it would have only just benefited Bullet in the end, but he had to have that money.
Grasshopper says he'd never heard of this Bulletmaker. Well, Grass, I'll tell you, you could probably, on some of the old Blog Talk radio shows, if they're still up, you might be able to catch some of his interviews that he did. I'm not sure if anything's going to be around on the internet, but it has been a day or two ago.
Is Doug Bilby still even alive?
No, he passed away about 6-7 years ago, I believe.
I was going to say.
Yeah, and out of respect, we did put on the forum in our member memorial area that, you know, Doug passed away, because we didn't hate him, even though, you know, he attacked us and everything. We got to be really good friends with him, and we just thought it was appropriate to post that.
Okay, folks, it's 10:30 and it's time to gift the first 5 memberships, and we're going to do another round at 10:45. So here we go.
We've got some questions to get to too.
All right, let's fire away with the questions, Chris.
Let's see. Oh. From Aaron Renzi, said, why do people worship individuals like Thinker Thunker and think they are the voice of truth within the Bigfoot community? Aaron or Rand?
Well, it's because, and this is going to piss off a lot of people, but people are too damn gullible. They think, oh, Thinker Thunker is the greatest, but it's all about clicks for him. You know, he makes money off of the clicks. Even his titles are clickbaits. But for those of us that's been in the Bigfoot community and have actually looked at evidence and everything, when we see his interpretation of what he's trying to say is the evidence, we already see the holes in it. I don't think he's ever done a really good video that actually showed anything that he said was correct. I mean, I think a lot of the old timers just ignore him unless somebody pops up and says, well, Thinker Thunker did this. Well, we better go over and download the damn video and the screen capture so we have it, for future reference.
But yeah, I think there's always a new wave of people interested in the subject in Bigfoot, Sasquatch, and I think if once they latch on to a channel like that, it's like
it's called the contagion effect, right? One gets on, oh wow, and you see that people posting pareidolia as Bigfoot photos on Facebook, and everybody's like, oh, great job, oh wow, keep them coming and stuff like that. It's the contagion effect. You don't want to operate outside the norms of a particular group. So when you go over to the Thinker Thunker chat, there's probably a lot of people going, yeah, right, what a bunch of bullshit. But there's a small percentage of people out there going, oh, wow, great job. Yeah, all right, great job. That's, the real truth. The truth is that I think there is the majority of people out there that wish they could find a channel like this, and they haven't found it quite yet.
Yeah, I like to refer to it as peer pressure.
Right.
Steve, like you said, they see somebody else post it, so they feel obligated. Well, yeah, right. This is great. And the next thing you know, you got 50 people fall into that peer pressure.
Right.
And let's see, we got one from Mick here for Steve. Steve, have you ever considered starting a Sasquatch anti-hoaxer sting group? I'm sure you could rustle up some volunteers from the chat.
I probably no, I'm not going to start any more groups. Not in my wheelhouse. I spent a couple of years as both a moderator and an administrator for the Bigfoot forums. No, thank you. I am done with, because I was kind of funny. I was watching a true crime documentary yesterday, and it was about these two Facebook groups that were trying to find the identity of this guy. And my God, it was nonsense. And so, no, I don't want to deal with drama or anything like that, because, hey, listen, I don't need to make stings on hoaxers. They just put the stuff out there and make it really easy.
Yeah.
But thanks for thinking of that anyway.
Well, we got a sharp audience, so yeah,
we do
have a lot of people that could pick out a hoax.
Hey, listen, and if you guys see something, you can always throw me an email, throw me a message. I know Don has. I know Mr. Federal 2505 has. A bunch of people have thrown me stuff, and there may be a few more. I think Jeff Strader threw me something, but there's a bunch of people that have thrown, hey, check this person out, check that person out. Problem is that I have so much going on that I have very limited time. I have 3 days off a week, and I'm literally doing this the entire time I'm off.
Yeah. Oh, and Henry May says, happy birthday to Mrs. Kulls.
I will send her the message.
Oh. Hey, this one's for me. From the Tackle Tactician. Chris, do you have any expeditions planned in Kentucky this year? Yes. Probably tomorrow. Since it started warming up, I would have already been in the woods if it hadn't been raining all week. But I think you live over in Western Kentucky, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But
Chris and I are kind of lucky, because our research areas are we don't have to spend the night there. We can drive up there, go there at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, drive back home. That's 45 minutes later, we're in bed.
Yeah. I love it. It's great. So it's not like, I have to go for, a 3-day trip just to get there. No, I'm, within probably about 10, 15 miles of my research area. And going to be a lot of time spent out there, starting probably tomorrow. Well, I think that's all the ones we got here.
Now, and as far as, channels monetizing, yeah, I mean, when we go to Thinker Thunker, we can, Darren and I probably can go back to, hey, remember Facebook Find Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Very similar. They would rationalize every Bigfoot was a real Bigfoot in the video by some amazing rabbit out of the hat type of science. And it didn't matter what the facts of it was. I've actually, on Facebook Find Bigfoot, I remember even saying, them posting a video. I go, well, that's funny. I had a conversation with the guy. He admitted it was a hoax, but here you are trying to say it's real.
Yeah.
Don't get it. I can't get over last year. The Thinker Thunker had Remember that? Where he tried to say that, right? And the funny thing is that there's Jeffrey. Finger Thunker, not a nice person. I mean, there's some people like, okay, MK Davis. You know what? MK may be wrong. He may be whatever, but he never really gets in a public tussle with anybody. But Thinker Thunker, after posting the video saying, hey, listen, Thinker Thunker's got this wrong, made threats to try to take my channel down. Of course, I know my YouTube rules. I am a YouTuber now. I have been. I started learning since 2019. I know the rules. I know the confines. I knew what he was saying was baloney, and I sent him a very terse retort saying that none of it, but if you want to try it, go right ahead, and then I'm going to go after. I didn't say I was going to go after him, but it would have made him look stupid. So here we are almost a year later, and we're still here despite his threats. So that's the way people with cognitive dissonance, again, illusionary superiority, specifically with him, you know, that how dare we question him.
And Henry's got a question for Darren. It says, what does DW think of MK threatening Bob Gimlin through Sasquatch?
Yeah, I know. I actually downloaded that video because we knew it was going to disappear pretty quick.
He threatened Bob.
Yeah, he said that if Bob went down there, the Bigfoot would remember Bob and go after Bob for the Bigfoot massacre. And it all comes down to relevancy.
Yeah, I wouldn't even call that a threat.
Yeah, well, you know, MK did great work on the PGF film way back there. You know, he managed to do a lot of things. But then, just like Bullet Maker and Ed Smith, his limelight started fading. Then he come out with the Mike Sales stuff. That started fading. And then he come up with the massacre stuff. And nobody really believed him as far as the old timers in the community. And to actually say what he did about Bob Gimlin, it's like, you know, he's just doing stuff that is going to get everybody riled up, and everybody will run over to his YouTube channel and watch his videos and, you know, all this. It's all a game of what kind of controversy can I create to draw in more people to click on my videos. You know.
So in case people don't know who Mike Sells is, Darren, why don't you kind of relay some of the information and some information about some of the videos, including the fence walker, and then I'll add my 2 cents in too.
Okay. So Mike Sells was a researcher down in Texas that claimed to have a lot of Bigfoot activity. So there were several groups that come in and was doing the investigation, and they set up an old security camera system. And they actually took some camcorders and put out there and faced them towards mirrors, because according to Mike Sells, if they seen a camera pointed at them, the Bigfoot wouldn't come out. But if they pointed them towards a mirror, they would. So they ended up with several boxes of VHS tapes just full of this stuff. And the people that actually was on these research groups went in and looked at it. And it was a big regional thing. I mean, there's researchers from Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas. They all got together and watched this. And they concluded that it was Mike Sells hoaxing, you know, because most of it was obvious that it was him running through the field like the fence climber.
Yep, absolutely.
You know, it's obvious. It's a guy with a white T-shirt, and people don't really realize this, but the gate that is just a few feet over was actually open. You know, if it was a Bigfoot, why would a Bigfoot go to the trouble of trying to go over a fence when it could just go right through an open gate? It was just all done. And, you know, Tom Biscardi and his guys went down there, and, oh, Mike Sells is the greatest thing on earth. But he'd already been exposed. But then somehow MK Davis got a hold of the tapes and started going through them and posting these video clips. And a lot of people don't understand who Mike Sells was. You know, they don't know the history. So they're like, oh man, MK Davis is doing a great job. No, MK is really screwing things up.
Right. They don't know about the gifting that was done.
Yeah.
They don't know the dimensions of the fence, because MK in his video makes that fence sound like it's huge. It's not. It's not. And
it's
I was
like
there.
A 3-strand fence, so it's
Right.
not that high.
I was there, and the video on my channel, if you guys ever want to go back, it's one of the earlier ones we did. You can actually see where the actual wire is pushed down. You see one of the fence posts go whoop, and then come back up as he releases it. All right. Mike Sells was maybe 6'5", maybe 6'7". He was a very tall dude. That is Mike Sells in a ghillie suit. Walks like Mike Sells, runs like Mike Sells, is long and lanky like Mike Sells. And if you look at the video, you can even see cuff links, or not cuff links, but cuff ends on pants as it goes over the fence. So I don't know, MK is trying to make a bigger thing. And of course, we did a more accurate representation of the size of the fence. And it is what it is. And, but I will tell you one little thing. I did get to meet one of the crew there that was getting these tapes, and he lived over in Fort Worth. And we met this guy in the house, and he was showing us some of the Sells tapes we had not seen before. And at the very end, he hands me this piece of paper in a plastic.
You're going to tell this?
In a freezer bag. And I look at it, and it's like a stick figure drawing. And he looks at me, and he takes it back, and he's all starting to breathe heavy. He's like, Bigfoot wrote that. And I'm like, get me the... Hang on a second. Get me the hell out of here. You know why?
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
Yeah, that's exactly the way I felt.
Yeah.
And hold on. I think it's time for Ralph, too. Ralph, what do you think of the Texas fence climbing video? And Ralph has rendered his verdict. Sorry. See, Darren, we have fun around here.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of Steve's. What was it? A glyph that I is Bigfoot, or
that's exactly where that came from too.
I didn't think you were going to tell this.
I had done this parody video. I don't even know if it's still on my on the board.
Oh yeah.
That's
where that came from.
Bigfoot
in Crayon.
I did this parody where I was like, I've been leaving fresh fruit out for the Bigfoot to see would it come back, and one day it came back with a rock. Yep, that's Bigfoot. And then I go back out another time. I come back and it left me a glyph, which we all know a glyph is something carved into rock, not a stick structure. And it says, look, and I put it on a stack. I got like 4 sticks that says hi. 1, 1, 2, 3. Right? Like, look, it said hi. And then I left this and this, and it left me a note. And I go over and it's like written backwards, I is Bigfoot. Right? And I go, that explains it. Quantum physics. So I said, I wonder what it left me today. And I ran up there, and it was an iPhone. The bowl. Be an iPhone. Maybe Bigfoot will call me. And 6 months later, Bigfoot called good old what's his name? Igor.
Yeah. Igor.
Sounded like Igor stole my idea. So what I've tried to do is a lot of times you see some of these hokey, jokey videos, and I was doing it for a spell. I'm going to capitalize on some of those hoax videos, but I'm going to make parodies of them.
Yeah, you got to have a little fun with it.
And that's what I did. I had a whole series of shorts using the same captions. Oh, Bigfoot spotted and blah, blah, blah. And here's the, and it would be me sitting there like, okay, today. And I used to do it. I did it for like 2 weeks in a row in the morning. I'd be like, all right, folks, another Bigfoot video.
Yeah.
Bigfoot at a parade. Really?
I missed the one.
Why do I do this to myself? Here we go. And I would play it. And I would obviously put some parody into it. And then that's the way we capitalized on like those clickbaity stations that put that kind of stuff out there. Well, we're gonna put the clickbait out there too, but we're gonna have some fun with it, and just make complete mockery of it that it was, not real. So it worked for a while. It was fun. But we move on to other things now, and that's what we do.
Well, it kind of reminds me of the Kentucky Bigfoot pancake video.
Yeah.
A copy of that got posted, and it just so happens they put the food out, and it's the landowner, and she's got a hoodie, a white hoodie on. Well, that night, the Bigfoot that comes up there has actually got a hoodie on. And it's like, man. And they said, what's his name? The guy from who backed Ketchum?
Erickson.
Yeah, Erickson paid all this money for the footage and all that.
Oh, he didn't. Hold on. He didn't just pay for the footage. He actually bought the house.
Yeah, he bought the property.
Bought the property and bought the owners a new house.
Yeah, so it's like
that was so disappointing because everybody was like, "Oh, this is great! This is great! This is going to prove Bigfoot exists." And I'm like, "Okay, I finally get to watch it. I won't say how, but I get to watch it." And then, I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" I mean,
yeah.
People believe this is real.
Then you have the Matilda video that was part of that. You had Randy Bresson's stuff that was part of it. And then finally, what a lot of people didn't know was that Erickson was also doing work on the Janice Carter farm.
Yeah.
And when you look at it as a whole, where you're thinking that this is going to be something big, and it all falls through the cracks, just like the Ketchum study did. Had Melba asked for help from real geneticists, maybe the results may have been different. Maybe they wouldn't have been, but maybe they at least they would have been scientifically accepted the results.
Yeah.
But again, it goes back to people trying to keep everything for themselves.
Well, it's almost like the Falcon Project. They conned so many people out of money, but would never show inside the factory where these things were supposed to be built at.
Right. And
then they conned the ground team into going up there, and then left them high and dry. And there was guys that I was told actually sold their houses and all their property just to go up there to be a part of this. And
right.
I'm at the point now to where if something has got red flags, I immediately dismiss it because he didn't even have a prototype built or even show the company that was supposed to be building it. Their website ceased to exist. But he was talking about sending 2 copies of this over to Africa to catch poachers, and he didn't even have a copy flying in the United States yet.
Right. Yeah, there was a lot of strange and weird things going on with that man. And, you look at it and go, that's why we had William Allen Barnes on the show talking about it at the very beginning of that. And that was in, what year, Chris?
God, I don't know.
1997. And then we fast forward 10 years and it's still not off the ground. And now there's things called drones that can do this.
Yeah.
So when you look at something like this kind of footage, what do you need a balloon for? And truthfully, that drone was so high up, you couldn't hear it. And they could actually zoom the camera in without moving the drone down. So you still wouldn't hear it. And now there are thermal versions of the very same drone.
Yeah.
So,
and look at what they're doing with drones over in Ukraine.
Right.
It's just crazy what they can do with drones now.
And the Iranians are using drones.
Yeah.
So there's just, and I'm sure we are too. We just don't talk about it here.
My idea was not so much as making a drone to take pictures of Bigfoot or anything, but outfit one with fishing hooks and stuff, and then fly it into him, crash it into him, and to where those hooks are going to grab something, maybe a few hair or a little piece of skin or something, a blood sample, anything. But 5 more.
Yep, I just sent the other 5 out, so that's our 10 for the month, folks.
But I would like to have. Not death from above, but just smash into him and what is this thing? Grab it and throw it away. Then you go retrieve your drone and you got your samples.
Well, this doesn't mean that I'm pro kill, but I joke about. I wish I could buy an old Bradley fighting vehicle with a 20mm cannon, and I'll just pull up to the woods, level the woods, and then go in there and find what's left of Bigfoot. It'd be so much
there's
easier.
One.
Oh no.
Or just buy a paneled station wagon and just keep your fingers crossed. And what was that?
The drone thing is a great idea though, especially now when before the foliage is on the trees. Early spring or late fall after the leaves have fell off. Get your drone and fly above these areas where you can't really get to without some extreme hiking.
And that's what I do. I've actually got a drone that I can program to fly away outside of the range of the controller.
Cool.
You plan a mission on the software and it uploads it, and it'll go and it can actually do about 7 miles away from where I'm at and then come back.
Oh wow.
So
I'm wondering if we just could send Bigfoot a package from the Acme Corporation, like one of the rockets that Wile E. Coyote used to use, and that would probably end it real quick. Here, strap that on your back, Bigfoot.
The tackle tactician come and says, Chris, I can help with your Squatch Hooker Z2000.
I think he meant just Squatch Hookers 2000.
Yeah.
But anyway, Chris, look what time it is.
Oh no, you're not. No. Oh, we got a little bit of time left, not much.
Yeah, we got a whole 5 minutes.
It has passed by quick though. Dang.
Sure does. Always does. We're amongst good friends and good conversation and honest conversation too, I might add. So that's what we aims to bring. We may not bring you Bigfoot is eating your family tomorrow. We may not be bringing you, some creepy, I was creeped out by Bigfoot, surrounded by them. I could see them in the wood line because there was a full moon out, even though there wasn't a full moon. And, we don't do that here. We bring you real witnesses. We bring you people you can see, people you can talk to, and we bring you honest discussion. And tonight was a very interesting discussion, talking about more of the seedier side of Bigfoot research, which we all deal with, and sometimes we have trouble dealing with. But Darren, I want to thank you for coming on tonight. You have any parting words for the audience tonight?
Well, I seen several of the people in the chat said that they went over and joined or put a request in to join the Bigfoot Hoaxers 2.0. If you do go and apply to join the group, make sure you answer the questions, because we got a policy. If you don't answer the questions when you ask to join, we deny you. It's nothing personal. It's just something that we do. It weeds out a lot of the spammers.
Yep.
So,
and they're out there too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I always, what I've been finding lately is the comments on my post saying, "Oh, you know what? I I find your posts really engaging and very interesting. And wow, perhaps you would consider becoming my friend. Can you send me a friend request? No. You can hit that little friend request button and I'll make that time. No. But Darren, I want to thank you as always for coming on. I know it's been a couple of years, so I figured it was time to get you back on.
I appreciate you asking me to be on here.
And, you know, I mean, it's hard to believe Chris and I talk about this all the time. We've been on the video format now here at YouTube. July will be 5 yeyears already. And I'm like, where did it go? Where did it go?
Yeah. It seemed like just yesterday we was starting up over here. You know, I don't know. I love it though. I love it. Yeah, I love this format. This is great. More so, you know, we could never do this kind of stuff on like the old blog talk radio days. You know, we could show videos, show pictures, you know, we'd talk to the audience. It's great. I love it. We got to get out of here pretty soon. So I'm going to go ahead and get my words in, Steve, and then I'll turn it over to you. Again, I want to thank Mr. DW, Darren Lee, for being on with us tonight.
I appreciate it.
It was a pleasure having you and always is. And I want to thank everybody over in the chat for joining us tonight. We appreciate you guys. We know we got the greatest audience in Bigfootery. If it's your first time watching, make sure you hit that like, subscribe. If you like what you see, consider becoming a channel member. And, you know, we appreciate you. You're going to get honesty here. And we may not be able to bring a Bigfoot for you every day, but if we ever do get one, you'll be one of the first people to see it.
Yep.
And
all right,
Steve, I'm out.
All right, folks, everybody. I want again, thanks so much, Darren. Darren, if you want to stick around for a second after the outro, I want to talk to you about something.
Okay.
Very quick, yeah. And you know, on behalf of me and Chris and Darren, we want to wish everybody a happy, safe, healthy week. God bless, and of course, keep on squatching, folks. We'll catch you this Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern on the Bigfoot News. And next Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern for Squatch-D TV Live. We'll catch you all real soon. Peace.
We thank you for being here with us on Squatch-D TV. If you haven't taken the time yet, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And oh yes, hit that notification bell too. We don't want you to miss anything. If you really like our content, you should consider becoming a member, and it's really inexpensive and a great way to support not only the show, but honest Bigfoot research. Everyone have a great week. Be safe and God bless. We will see you all here next time on Squatch-D TV. Keep on squatching.